and see what's up. What's going on, Get Big Entertainment? So like I said, I was here. I was fixing some stuff, doing some cable management, preparing some files for a couple of things I'm working on. And what up, Keel Hall? Peace, peace. And also checking out some parts because I'm in the process of building my own PC. You'll hear more about that in the near future. I've been without a good functioning computer for quite some time now. And instead of going for a laptop, I decided to go for a PC. I see a lot of DJs slash producers who will prefer to go for a laptop. I will have a laptop available for DJing, but to be honest, you do not need any type of special laptop for most DJ software. And you see some of these high profile DJs flying all around the world, doing their production on their laptop while they're on the plane. For most of us, that's not the case. And I'm willing to bet most of you, if you are into producing, are doing that at home. And you might as well be doing that on a PC. The thing also is, because I did do that with my MacBook Pro, I was using my MacBook Pro for DJing, production, all my video editing, you name it. And every time you take your laptop to a gig, even though a laptop is made to be portable, you do run the risk of potentially breaking your laptop. Now, in my case, my laptop did sort of die, not through gigs, maybe just wear and tear, but because that died, all of a sudden I didn't have a DJ computer. That's easily replaceable with an old laptop, but my production and editing went down the drain. So I want to have a powerful computer for all my editing and production, and it's going to be way cheaper to build my own laptop, my own PC, sorry, instead of buying a pre-built or buying a Mac, which is crazy expensive. Let's see what's going on here real quick. DJ Over Montero, Willie D, Raul Hernandez, Dapper 88, C Goods. What, yo, C Goods. I just ran into this like actually 10 minutes ago. So salute to you, brother. And let's see. Hopefully you backed everything up. Oh yes, no doubt. Look, and I've been preaching backups for the longest time. I basically have all my files on hard disks, external hard drives. I have backup hard drives with copies of all the same files, and I had online storage, and I even went as far as to take certain files and have another external drive that I had in a different location. I stored those at my mother's house. So just imagine, and none of us wants this to happen, but imagine that you're at home and you have a computer and you have hard drives and backup hard drives, but they're all in the same location. If anything ever happened to that location, and you lose everything at that location, that means you would lose your backups as well. So you want to have at least an online backup or have a secondary location where you can store certain files. Now, it doesn't have to be everything, but all of the pictures and videos of my kids. To me, that's the most important thing. That's more important to me than all of my music and you name it. I want to make sure I have that safe. But of course, the rest of my files as well. So no, my MacBook Pro kind of dying on me, that was not an issue when it came to losing files. I still have everything. So that's not an issue. Let's see. People are pouring in right now. AMS 84 was good. James Madison, Jones, Billy Meza, Isaac Lopez, DJ Jonas, DJ Filico, 79, Deuce Beats. Yo, if I'm messing up anybody's name, my bad. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about a comment about live streaming, and now I got into a little talk about the PC. So I will be building a PC very soon. That's going to be my studio computer. I'll be using that for music production, for all of my video editing, because even if the MacBook Pro was still working, it was really slow when it came to rendering. It was an older MacBook Pro, 2013 model. So it was kind of fighting to keep up. And anything I can do to save time is definitely going to help me out. So having a beast of a computer that's going to cut down my rendering times will allow me to actually edit and render more videos, because I have footage laying around. Like the footage you're seeing now, my last couple of posts from the podcast, that's a podcast I recorded 2 months ago. But because of computer issues, I didn't have a chance to edit it. But that's all going to work out. So I see a couple of questions here, and I want to get into that comment first. Let's open that screen again. So in the video about the future of live streaming or live streaming after the pandemic, I saw a comment, and this comment was, the streaming hype will fade away and things will be exactly like before COVID. We have internet radio stations for over 25 years. It never became big. And I put out streams weekly for a couple of years now. It's fun to do, but do not expect something from it. And I tend to disagree, and I definitely told that to the person as well. You should not assume things are going back to normal. And I'm not just talking about live streaming. This pandemic is something different, and it has changed certain things. So you can tell. A lot of people have been working from home. A lot of companies already announced that even after this pandemic is over, they will be partially continue to keep that homework element in there. A lot of bigger companies need big buildings to house all of their employees. Now, during the pandemic, they find out that a portion of their employees could actually be working from home. That means they don't need as much space for all of their people. Same thing with communication. There's a lot of people out here. If you would ask them like 6 months ago if they would use social media to communicate with friends and family, you have people that would definitely tell you, no, that's not for me. I will never do that. Trust me, there's a lot of people out there that have been using anything from Zoom to other social media apps to communicate because now they had to. And you can be sure that they'll continue to do that. Now, of course, when the pandemic is over and we're able to just go out again and socialize in a normal way, you will have your normal communication. But now that people also see how easy it is, convenient it can be to communicate through other apps, they'll continue to do that. Same thing with live streaming. A lot of people will go back to their gigs, I'm sure of that. But for a lot of people, live streaming was something they hadn't really checked out. And I don't think you can really compare it to internet radio stations. An internet radio station basically, most of the times, will just be like a radio station. They're playing music. Sometimes it could be a live DJ playing, but it's not a live stream. At least it definitely wasn't in the beginning, where you would also have like a video feed. And I feel there's definitely a difference when it comes to the way you can connect with an audience through a live stream compared to internet radio. And because things didn't get big before, doesn't mean that they can get big now. I'm not saying live stream is going to be the biggest thing ever, but I don't know. I can just tell that for a lot of people, including the audience, live streaming has now become an option. And yeah, this will be around. And I think people underestimate how this changed things. People have been underestimating the whole pandemic from the beginning. I've talked to a lot of DJs in the first couple of months where they were still talking as if we will be back to our normal gigs within like a month or two. And I could tell, like in let's say April or May, I already knew, like, nah, we're not going to be doing gigs this summer. Probably not even after the summer. This is going to take a long time. Now, I know it's different in every country. Here in the Netherlands, they already announced that when it comes to like the bigger festivals, they will not have big festivals here until there's a vaccine. So that could be a pretty long time. So things are going to be different, man. Even when we get to go out again, I know for myself, I'm not looking to go to a lot of spots that are too crowded. I'm not shaking as many hands as I did before. Definitely not just hugging people that I hardly know I don't know. I'm going to be a little bit different when it comes to that from now on. That's just me speaking for me. Let me see. I saw something here. I'm a radio program manager from South Africa. Pandemic has changed the entire industry. Half the lineup is broadcasting from home. Yeah. And of course, when the pandemic is done, that's not going to stay that way. But a lot of people are discovering that this is actually a nice extra tool to be able to use. People, artists, companies. So yes, this is something that will be here to stay. I don't think so. Streaming is the way to go. When you do a live video, you make bank, to name a few DJs, DJ Bar, DJ Cleveland. If you bring talent, you bring big crowds. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be able to at least gain an audience that they couldn't gain before. Just imagine if you're living in a place where there's just not a lot of people. There's like one club. They don't play the music you play. You can't get gigs in your area, so you can't really build your fan base unless maybe you start to do your own event. Through live streams, you can actually gain an audience. They might not be from your area, even your country, but you can still just build your brand and gain some attention that you couldn't really get before. So I think it's great. I believe that this streaming will be part of the norm, just because many of us DJs have put in a lot of work and effort to join this new way of DJing. Yeah, I mean, just imagine there's a lot of you out there that went out to buy capture cards and all of that stuff. So you're just going to put that back in the closet once this is over? Nah. And you're investing time. I assume a lot of you are liking it. Like I said in my last video, also, I think a lot of you are discovering that there is a freedom to live streaming that you do not have when you're playing in a bar or club, where you might actually dare to play a little bit more, experiment a little bit more than you would at home in a club. And that's a plus. What about D Nice? He was pulling big numbers. Yes, he definitely was. Now, that's one thing that is important. A lot of DJs will not get those numbers. I mean, I had people come up to me after the D Nice thing happened, like, yo, you need to start live streaming. He had so and so many people. First off, that was not his first live stream. He'd been pushing for quite some time. Second, I've been live streaming before too. Never had numbers like that. It's something that you have to build up, and you also need to have a little bit of luck / connections. D Nice was already doing celeb type of parties, so he was able to have certain people come into that stream that a lot of people won't have, and that created a really big hype. Like, once you hear that even Michelle Obama is on the live stream, that will go around. Okay, this is not what I was expecting. You see that right there? That's a battery, but I do have a backup. So let's fix that real quick, because I don't want to end this stream. Hold up. We still here. That happens when you start to spontaneously do streams, and then your camera might decide to just stop. So you guys can still hear me. Let me just switch that battery real quick, and then we can continue. All right. 1 and 2. There we go. Set that straight again. There you go. Okay. That works. So that's why I'm glad that I have my mic separately, so I could still talk. If I was talking through the cam, to the mic on the cam, and the battery died, we would have lost everything. So let's see. How soon before a new virus attacks us? Every DJ better have his home setup ready to go, because this is the new way of doing things. That's a good point. I mean, this is definitely not the last time this will happen. So it's good to learn from this situation that yes, when we do not have any clubs to go to, this is an option. And business wise, I've seen people, I've seen DJs already do certain things to monetize. Now, that's not going to be for everyone. You will have to have a name, a brand, a following, you name it. But I've seen DJs do all sorts of things like monetize their own live stream where you had to go to their website and actually pay to watch their stream. I've seen DJs with sponsored streams where they get paid by sponsor. I know DJs who got paid to stream on a company's Facebook page. I've seen another DJ who got paid to stream for, I think it was some sort of restaurant slash bar. And they had like a screen and he was just playing from home for the people in that place. And I mean, you have to imagine that even or more companies will start to think of ways to actually reach their audience and maybe use us to do that. So yes, it is good to use this and be prepared for whenever something like this happens. DJing at restaurants, lounges, and brunch days. Any comments about it? Why not? Like if you don't have gigs and you have the option to play at a restaurant, you could. Just keep in mind that it is not the same thing as playing in a club. There's in most occasions, there's not people on the dance floor. People are sitting and eating. So most likely they're not looking for a DJ who's playing like crazy bangers and going all out. You're going to be more of an atmosphere builder, but that could be a great learning experience to do something like that as well. I live in Spain and the club that I work still open, but we work 9 to 1:30 and the people in the party act like they don't care about the virus. Yeah, that is an issue. I mean, in a lot of places, I do see people still not take this seriously, or the measures that were taken were helping, and now people are overconfident. I mean, I was talking to people in the States like a couple of months ago, and so for instance, a DJ from Texas, this was like, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm about to start playing again. And I was like, okay, that sounds like it's kind of soon, because I know in the States, they were behind when it came to flatten the curve compared to us. We started our lockdown earlier, took the measures the way they should be taken, and kind of flattened that curve. In the US, that wasn't the case, but that DJ told me like, yeah, I'm about to start playing again. Now, I think the next week I saw pictures of him playing in like sort of a bar in Texas, and then another gig. And like a month later, Texas is like one of the hot spots there for Corona. So I see this in different countries where they start to open up again or too soon. And then you start to see like all of a sudden you have more cases again. So it's tricky. You really need to be careful with that. I got my first DJ equipment right before the quarantine hit. And when we were still in school, it's given me time to practice. Yes, that's the thing, man. You need to use that time. If you have more time than you had before, you should be focusing on something. That could be working on your DJ skills, maybe learning a new skill, working on editing, photography, whatever it is, use that time productively. Pablo TV, why not just plug the camera in? I don't know what that means. Explain. When I was looking at your old gigs, it was really dope to see you on turntables. Yeah, I still use turntables with Serato and now with Phase. The turntable is still my favorite weapon of choice, no doubt. DJ A Juice, Power Source Pro, what's good? DJ Shark. And let's see. I see a number of clubs in The Hague use playlists. Is this the future? In what way are they using playlists? Like a computer just playing music, because that's what a lot of restaurants and bars do? Or like, could you elaborate what you mean by that? Okay, yeah, Pablo TV, you live in Florida and it's a nightmare. Yeah, I'm seeing the news. It's like it's pretty crazy what's happening over there, man. So I really hope people people will survive. I mean, unfortunately, I do know already a couple of people who passed from corona. And then there's, of course, people you hear about on the news dying from corona. So, COVID-19. So, yeah, stay safe, everyone, everywhere. Uh, oh, when the battery died, instead of changing the battery, just plug it in. No, I can't plug this camera I'm using in. So once the battery dies, I have to put a new battery in. This camera does not have the option to let me plug a USB in and charge it. Some cameras do. I have a GoPro up here, could be charged like that. This camera can't be. Oh, for those interested, by the way, I'm streaming using Blackmagic's Ada Mini Pro. So I'm not using a computer. My camera is going into that box with a HDMI cable, and that box is just streaming straight to YouTube. I'm gonna do a video or more videos about what I'm using here, but that's a great little device right there. So it's not a Wi-Fi connection, just wired internet, and I'm streaming, and at the same time I have a hard drive in there that's recording this as well. I'm a musician turned DJ, have DDJ 1000. Do you have any pointers for me? Pointers about what? If it's about DJing, I have plenty of videos talking about different techniques, tips, you name it. Look, it doesn't really matter which device you get, because at the end of the day, when it comes to DJing, we're using the same techniques. The only difference is some devices will have more features on there. But if you're just starting out, you should be focusing on the fundamentals of DJing before you get into all the extra trickery that's available. And there's definitely tutorials out there specifically for the DDJ 1000. It is a great controller. Kenny, I made an Instagram account for parties back in February where I post parties across the state and post my own, and that I would DJ for, but Corona made it flop and it hadn't really gotten attention. Well, February was right about when it started, so you need to give that a chance. Of course, you can't do that now, but once we get back to having parties, you need to give something like that time. It's not like you can just start an IG account and all of a sudden you're gonna have a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs. So that's not gonna work like that. Do you make your own edits? Audio edits, hardly. I'm gonna do more of that. I've done a couple, but in most cases, no. Monterosi, I might be saying that wrong. When will you drop a new single? It's funny that you say that. Actually, that is something I was also working on before the computer issues. I have a bunch of different music projects that I had to put on layaway for a second, but I do plan to release some more stuff, interesting stuff as well. I'm not going to talk about that yet too much, but I'm really looking forward to that. But that's gonna be a while. I'm gonna build that computer first, set everything up, get my videos back up to speed, and then it's time for that. Zimbabwe in the building. Tatenda Kapanyota. I've learned a lot from your videos. Always good to hear. Always good to hear. Let's see if I missed anything. J Beats and Waves. What up? Kenny, Rhode Island. It seems like there isn't much of a nightlife scene here at all. When I start, I feel like I'd have to throw my own parties and bring the scene here myself. That's what it is. If you live in an area, so let's just imagine there's no pandemic right now. When parties are back and you just don't really have a scene in your area, you can definitely try to just start to create that scene. You'll have to start small, but I mean, for me, it was a great way to get gigs in the beginning. Just organize my own events. You get to play what you want to play. You invite people who also like the style that you have, the music you play, and build it from there. Even if it doesn't get a lot of attention, you still get to have more experience of actually playing in front of people. You have a lot of fun doing it. So yes, that definitely is something to consider after this whole lockdown pandemic is over. Kevin Jean was good. La Prora Jones, salute. Zetar Burrell. Oh, that was the DJ 1000. I'm seeing if I skipped over anything in here. Anything. No, I think we're going good over here. You're my idol along with DJ Jazzy Jeff. I take that as a very big compliment because DJ Jazzy Jeff is one of my favorite DJs. Very cool dude as well, but a great DJ. Um, so yeah, man. Anytime someone mentions me in a sentence with a DJ like that, I'm humbled. Are we going to see a switch where we can hear top quality audio from live music streams? It seems like video quality goes up and audio goes down in terms of the technology evolution. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case. I mean, you can stream pretty good audio. Um, I mean, I know a lot of. I mean, some streaming services already prove that. Like for instance, if you go to Tidal, they have an option to let you stream like really high quality. It is possible, but yes, I do feel a lot of DJs are probably focusing more on the video aspect than the audio aspect when it comes to live streaming because you might feel that hey, if I'm going to stream, I'm going to shoot a video, the picture has to be perfect. And fact is, audio is such an important part of video, but especially if we're talking about live streaming and live streaming where you're mixing, playing music, the audio is what should sound great. I mean, I'd rather watch a live stream with great audio and just not great video instead of the other way around where I'm looking at some type of Steven Spielberg production but the audio sucks. That doesn't really make sense. I came to hear good music. I mean, if the visuals are cool, that's perfectly fine. That might make a stream better. But audio is the key 100%. Frimo DJ was good from Benin. Where is that again? I know that name. But yeah, I've seen and heard streams already that are definitely high quality, like that had great video and audio that you could definitely just bump it and it sounded good. So it is definitely possible. Get big. To be honest, I think I practice more since I've been doing live streams, um, which I think is a good thing. Yeah, I've seen that happen too. I've seen DJs I know that have been way more active since the lockdown than before. They found a new freedom and they're doing all sorts of streams. And I see them do the thing they regularly do, but then I also see them do totally different things. Um, so it is a certain freedom that comes with it. So, yes, let me see what time is it over here. Okay. I think I'll wrap it up for now. I want to do one thing. If you have any requests for upcoming videos, how about dropping that in the chat right now so I can check that out later? Let me know. Is there anything you would like to see me talk about, show, explain, you name it? So I'll be doing videos in the near future about all sorts of things that I'm working with. So I have a Rodecaster Pro. I'm going to be talking about that for podcasting. I have the ATEM Mini Pro by Blackmagic. I'll be talking about that. That is more for the live streaming part of it. I'm going to be talking about Neural Mix for Algorithm DJ. I've been playing around with that, which I think is a very nice addition to the DJ tech that we have out there. Then, of course, Virtual DJ has something similar with a different name. I haven't tried that one out, but they basically do the same thing. They allow you to chop a track up into different stems. So I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking more about BeatSource Link. BeatSource is the DJ City Beatport collab that started out as an online store at BeatSource, beatsource.com. After that, the streaming element was added, BeatSource Link, and BeatSource Link allows you to use all of the music from the BeatSource website in different DJ software, including a record box, an algorithm, and there's a couple more coming up really soon. And I'm not allowed to say the names, but it's pretty big. And I know people have been waiting for that one, but I'll be talking more about that. What else? There was more. Yes, I'm going to be doing my PC build. So you will be seeing exactly all of the parts I chose to build my computer, why I chose those parts. I'm going to show you how to build that computer. So I'm going to just film all of that and show you. And then I'm gonna run some benchmarks and also test it with some audio software, video software, you name it. And there were a couple of, yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more like the live stream stuff. So I already talked about that. And beyond all of that, once I have my computer up, I can finally get back to working on my DJ course, which I wanted to release basically at the start of the year. And that plan just went all the way down the drain. But I don't mind. I'd rather have to wait for a while and be able to do it well. And that's something that's also going to happen. But that's not for the channel. That's going to be something separate. So don't forget Mixcloud. Yes, Mixcloud is a good one. How to set and produce good sound quality when streaming. Yes, I can't talk about that, but I do want to mention that there are already some pretty good videos out there when it comes to live streaming. I mean, Mojax has done some stuff for DJ City. Make sure you check out Cleveland Terry. He's been doing very dope videos when it comes to streaming, a lot with OBS, but especially for DJs, because there's a lot of videos about streaming online, but a lot is aimed at the gaming community. So they're all about game live streams. But Cleveland Terry is doing a lot of videos about just streaming for DJs. So make sure you check his videos out, because then you don't have to wait for my content. You can check that out already. But once I've been live streaming for a while, I will run through everything I do to make it work. Are you going to be doing DJ session vids again? Yes, that is also coming back. What up, David Deluxe? Bakersfield in the building. Can you talk about your record collection? Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. Not going to do it now. Oh, there we go. Now we get the info on the screen. We don't want that. Let's take that out again. Can we get rid of that again, please? So the collection is here. I will definitely do some videos about that. We could do that. Is there anything specific you want to know about my record collection? Or would it just be fun for me to just go through and just grab some stuff and look at it? We could do that too. So let me know. What else is in here? Fresno, California in the building. What up, Louie? Cat London in the building. What's good? My most expensive record. Woo. I don't know. To be honest, I was never one to be really into the hype of getting special collector items. I mean, there's like special box sets out there, special releases of vinyl that are really expensive, and I never really got into that. So most of my stuff was just bought as normal vinyl in the record store, a lot of secondhand, especially when it comes to all of my older vinyl. So I have no idea. I mean, it could be that there's a gem in here that's worth a lot. I don't know. To my knowledge, there's nothing really special or extra valuable in here. So I have no answer for that. I'd have to bring in a specialist to go through all of my vinyl and see if that person could find something really valuable in there. I have a couple I paid $300 to name it. That's pretty expensive. For certain records, I would have definitely done that. Now, I have not spent a lot of money on vinyl in a long time. I really just can't afford it. I have kids, and I'm not gonna spend $300 on a piece of vinyl when I have kids that have all sorts of needs and are getting bigger and are starting to eat more, and the fridge is empty every day, and we have to get new food. It's crazy. When you see kids grow up and you see when they start to eat like a man, you're like, damn. You have to start cooking twice as much. But no, I haven't spent a lot on vinyl in years. I mean, sometimes something might come out and I might be like, okay, I should get that. I want that in my collection. So then it all depends on if I can actually spend that money at that time. Oh, what else is in here? How are you dealing with COVID-19? You know what's funny? I've seen a lot of people here who are really complaining about the fact that they didn't get a chance to hook up and go to bars and all of that stuff. I guess I just grew out of that because I didn't miss that before and I wasn't doing that before. So for me, there wasn't really that much that changed. My social life was not that exciting. I mean, I would go to clubs when I play, and that's it. And most of the times, if we had some time for ourselves, just wifey and me, we would probably be at home. And yes, we can't go to dinner right now, or like it's starting to happen again now, but we were fine with not being able to do that for a while. Some people are sitting at home crying that they can't go and have drinks with their friends. That doesn't bother me at all. So for me, it's not been that big of an issue. We were homeschooling the kids for a couple of months before they went back to school. Uh, that went pretty well as well. They got their material online, and we just got to go through the work with them. And I don't know. For us, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, I did not find it that hard because, yes, there was a lockdown, but we were able to go outside. We live in a neighborhood where you have a lot of space. And if you want to step outside and just take a walk, you could just do that. So it's not like you're locked in the house 24/7. And no. Um, so for me, that part was cool. Now, the fact that we have no jobs, that's a totally different story. That is the messed up part. I was lucky enough to not have DJing be my only source of income, and that yeah, we were still actually getting an income. So luckily, um, her job never stopped. She continued to work a couple of days less, but still got paid the full pay. So that was just incredible. And I still had my video work. So basically, we still had income. So I'm lucky when it comes to that. But if DJing was my only source of income, that would have been rougher. We would still have one income, but it would have been a little bit rougher. What part of Cali are you in? Okay, that's not for me, I hope. I think we got some people from Cali connecting in here. Thinking of upgrading to Rain 12s with a Numark scratch mixer. Great setup. I mean, I still really like the Rain 12s, but to be honest, Phase has been my go-to. And that's also because, especially when we were still doing gigs, there were no Rains in the club, which means I would have to bring my Rain 12s, and I'm not carrying those things around everywhere. So carrying Phase is a lot easier. And I did one of my last gigs I did. I was warned in advance that one of the two turntables had like a faulty tone arm, and maybe I could bring a turntable. And to me, that was like, hey, no problem. Just set it up, have those turntables there. No worries, because I was not going to use the tone arm because of Phase. It has not let me down. Will you have a record box tutorial? I could definitely do that. Yes. I mean, I do have something planned which concerns DJ software, but it's not really a tutorial. Um, so yes, yes, I'm gonna put that on the list. What about live sessions, live lessons in YouTube? So when it comes to live streaming, this is like just a spur of the moment chat Q&A. I will be doing webinars every now and then. So those will be about a particular subject, and I'll be talking about that and then also taking some questions. So that will happen. Like when it comes to like one-on-one lessons or stuff like that, I'm not into that right now. Um, but like the webinar will be kind of a live lesson, and that will happen on YouTube. So yes. Do you prefer Phase or the 12s? Phase, 100%. 100% because of what I just said. The 12s are great, but if you want to play somewhere, you have to bring them. They are big. I'm looking at one right now. They're big. They're heavy. Um, so yeah, I did that for a couple of gigs with Brainpower too. So we were with the band, and I would have like the flight cases and everything. And I don't know. I mean, I've carried flight cases on tours for years, and at a certain point, you just don't feel like doing that anymore. if you don't have to. And if I can bring phase, I mean, it's just that little box with everything in there and connect it to the turntables, and I don't have to worry about needles, tone arms, RCA cables, or any of those points where you could have failure when you're using turntables. That for me was perfect. I mean, I've seen a lot of people had bad experiences with phase, especially in the beginning. I mean, they've released like I think 4 new versions of firmware every time they're addressing some of the issues. I haven't had any of those issues, and I've also talked to plenty of DJs who haven't had any of those issues too. So for me, it is definitely a very safe go-to, and I really enjoy using it. I was using it in my last video, the video with my son. I don't know if you've seen that one yet. Make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it. It is not the last video, the video before that, called DJ TLM 505. That's my son's nickname when it comes to him making beats. So that's my 8-year-old on the beat, and I'm doing scratches. And I'm using phase for that as well. So I love it. Have you worked with the Denon MCX 8000? No. Unfortunately, I still haven't. I actually went to the UK and did a video for Denon for their 7000, like I think 2-3 years ago. The 8000 looks amazing, like standalone, being able to use it with a controller, all of the features that it had, but I've never had a chance to test it, so I can't really speak on it. I understand I was a resident DJ at a bar and a restaurant, so took out good money, but still working regular job. Beach scene, still a little too scary. Okay. Never had any. Do you use any of the smaller controllers? I don't know how small you want to get, but yeah, that's the DDJ 400. DDJ 400, pretty small, very nice controller with a bunch of nice features on there. So yes, and I'll be doing more with that controller as well, because when I'm doing the neural mix videos with Algorithm DJ, I'm using the iPad in combination with the DDJ 400 to actually show that. So yeah, I definitely have smaller controllers, use smaller controllers, and for certain situations, they're great. I got my Vestax controller, Native Instruments S4. I used to have a Vestax as well. It was the VCI 300, if I'm not mistaken. I had it for a review, but I had it for a while, and that was a really nice controller as well. It's not like I bring the small controller like as a backup or anything like that, but for certain gigs, it can be handy. I've had gigs where we were playing with like a large band, but we were only like a small portion within that show. So you have to imagine you have a show. This is not like one of my shows with Brainpower where we do a full show with our band, but this is like where Brainpower is a featured artist in a larger program. So there's a band that's basically the house band playing the entire 2-3 hour set. And then you have different artists coming in who feature and who do some of their own songs and a collab song, stuff like that. Now, sometimes we do gigs like that, and in that, he has 3 songs. And in one of those songs, I do scratches. Now, there's already a lot of people on stage. I'm spending most of my time at the front of the stage as well, doing the backing vocals. So I only have that one scratch part. It's a small stage. In that case, a smaller controller is definitely my go-to instead of having to bring an entire big set, which will take up a lot of space on stage as well. So I've done some major shows where I come out and just have to just like a small controller and do cuts with that. But I have to say I do prefer the moving platters. So in that case, a couple of times I did that. I brought my S4 Mark III, the Native Instruments S4 Mark III with the moving platters. Still pretty small, but it gives you a little more feel compared to like a DDJ 400. Let's see. Yes, I used the 400 with Record Box, and Also with Algorithm DJ, but normally if I'm using it, it will be with Rekordbox DJ. Hey bro, can you answer one of my questions? Yes, I just did. Ask it right here. I'm here right now. DDJ 1000, have you tried it? Yes, I did a review on the original when it came out, and at that time I stated that the DDJ 1000 was my favorite controller with non-moving platters. So yes, I definitely used it, loved it. So I don't know if you have the normal one or the SRT version, which I also have here. But those are great controllers, so I definitely like them. Do you think by scratching on a controller it's a little bit harder than turntables? It's different. So I will add, if you learn how to scratch on a turntable, you're gonna have an easier time scratching on a controller than someone who's never used turntables, because you do have certain muscle memory that helps out. I mean, I've done scratches on controllers where I have people come up to me or just send me messages like, hey, I have that same controller. How can you do those scratches? I cannot get it to work like that. That's just the experience from practicing all that time on my turntables that made it easier for me, I think. But it's a different feeling. Smaller platters, non-moving, but you can get a lot done. But I still prefer the feeling of just the larger platter, the moving platter. That will be my first choice whenever I have that choice. John Entertainment, what's up? Oh, shout out to TLM. Oh, salute to you. Are you into portablism? If yes, what portable turntable are you using? I have the PT01 Scratch by Newmark. I do want to try the reloop spin. That looks really nice as well. I still have my PT01 Scratch in its normal configuration. I want it and still want to modify it. There's a lot of mods out there. I just didn't have the resources to do it because other things just have priority. So it's still in stock condition, but I will be modifying that. And whenever I add a mod, change something, I will do a video about that. So you can find my video online about the turntable and the bag that I got for it as well. What else? I want to start DJing live stream, and I want to know what's the most simplest gadget to plug in, just get good sound, and how do I go about not getting music stream removed because of music copy. All right, that's a lot of questions in one. I don't know which device is the simplest. You have a lot of different devices out there like iRigs for the audio, but they just do audio, not the video. I don't have one simple answer because there's so much out there. Check out Mojax on DJ City. Check out Cleveland Terry on his own YouTube channel, because they've already covered a bunch of that. Now, when it comes to not getting your music removed, that's just going to be hard on a lot of platforms, because a lot of platforms just do get in trouble with the labels. So Facebook is going to take down a lot of stuff. Instagram will take down certain stuff. Even with Twitch, a lot of times Twitch will allow you to stream and you will have no issue during the live stream. But then when you have the replay, it might mute parts of your mix that were deemed as copyright infringement. YouTube has the same issue. Mixcloud is the one that will not have that issue because they actually have agreements with the labels. And there are certain tricks that can work, but I'm not sure if they're totally foolproof. Where if you only play a song for a short period of time, if you make sure you manipulate it with scratch it, play it at a different pitch, all of those things seem to help, what I've heard from DJs. But certain platforms are just safer. Mixcloud is probably the safest. I've never had issues with Periscope, but then again, you do have to find ways to get people to come to that platform. That's why a lot of people want to use Instagram or Facebook, because they already have a following there. But I mean, I'm done with, especially like Facebook. I've had that happen too many times that in the middle of my stream, it will be taken down. So that is something that will continue to happen. But Mixcloud is the legal option where they actually like advertise like, hey, this is the place where you can stream. They already had that with their mixes. That was the one place you could upload your mixes and be the most safe. And now they have it with the live streams. Are you friends with DJ Terry? Now we haven't met. We've spoken a couple of times in messages, and we did plan to, or he invited me to do a video. I just did not get around to do it then. So we will definitely collab. I mean, I definitely like what he's doing, and I'm always up to collab with people where I can tell like they're doing good stuff. So we don't know each other personally, but yes, we've connected already. I use the iRig but still get static. I haven't used an iRig. I just know a lot of DJs use it and just it seems to work perfectly for them. So it could be an issue with the actual product. I don't know. I'm having a problem with my SZ2. I'm not getting any sound from the master output and very little sound from the booth output, even though nothing is plugged into the booth input. Okay, I don't know. A lot of these things are hard to just solve over a live stream. You have to just run through all sorts of steps to see if it's this, that. Um, do you use Club Killer MP3 pool? No, I've never used that. I've heard people talk about it, but I have no experience with it. So, all right, let me bring that up right now as well. Like, I have experience with a couple of different record pools, and let me grab that message. I got a comment today from someone who was really angry with me because he felt I was promoting something that was bad. So the comment was, and this was on a video I made called My Main Source of Music, DJ Pools. And the comment was, don't recommend Crate Connect, dude. What the F? Wishy-washy MP3s and audio clipping. Unless you're friends with DJ Dopey from Canada, I don't understand your angle. Proper scam. DJs need to look up to you. DJs seem to look up to you. Crate Connect is super whack. It's the same quality as free torrents. So I had to like see, like, wait a minute, what is he talking about? So first off, that video is 6 years old. And in that video, I explained that I used to use Crate Connect. Now, all I can say about Crate Connect from the time that I used it is that I never had issues with quality of audio. So maybe that is something that happened later. I don't know. And besides that, I did not promote it in the video to say that that was the one people should use. I only told people I used to use it. After that, I went on to Franchise Record Pool, used that for some time, and for I don't know how many years, like for the last 4, 5 maybe years, I've been using DJ City, and for the last 3 years, Beat Junkies. So DJ City and Beat Junkies are my two record pools that I use. There's a bunch of different record pools out there, and you need to just check out a couple because they will have different music in their archives. Some pools are definitely catering more towards let me call it urban music. Some are more EDM. Some will have like a large collection where they also have like country music and you name it. So it all depends on what you're looking for. Some will have a larger old school collection than others. So it all depends on what you need. I've heard people talk about Club Killer's MP3 pool. I've never used it, so I can't tell you anything about it. So yeah, try some out. Do you DJ with key lock on? For the longest time, I didn't. And then I did. And after a while, I remember I switched back to not using it again. So in the beginning, I wasn't using it because I didn't feel it sounded right. I was using Serato, and their master tempo key lock was horrible. It was just horrible. It did not sound right at all. So at a certain point, Serato updated, upgraded, and they had a much better key lock. Then I did start to use it, and now I use it on occasion. Sometimes I play a track and I know I'm going to speed it up, but I actually want to hear that. I want to actually hear that pitch go up. So in that case, I'll turn the key lock off. Now, in a lot of cases, I don't want you to hear that, so I might be speeding it up a little more than you would normally do. Then the key lock helps because it's not going to make the sound change too much. So it depends. Sometimes on, sometimes off. Should I run a mixer with my set? I'm not sure what that means. Run a mixer with my set. Explain, please explain. How do you organize your music files? I will get into that in a video once I organize my music files again, but that's way too much to talk about now. All right, now Club Killers is great. BPM Supreme, DJ City also. Yeah, BPM Supreme, I tested that a couple of years ago, and that was definitely also one that had a lot of good music in there, a lot of good edits. So I used that for like a week or two to test it out. DigiWax, yes, DigiWax is a free one that I've also used in the beginning. I haven't been there in years though. I run my master out of my controller into a small Yamaha mixer, and then run in audio cable into the mic input of a second PC for my stream audio. Yeah, I mean, there's like tons of different ways to go about doing the audio. So for instance, for this live stream, I have this microphone going into the Rodecaster Pro, and the Rodecaster Pro output is going in to the Ada Mini Pro. Just for a sec so you know what I'm talking about. Let me just grab that so you can see what I'm talking about. That is the Ada Mini Pro. That is the Rodecaster Pro. So there's tons of different ways you could do that. I mean, I could have also chosen to just take a microphone and plug the mic into that camera, use the audio that way. You could also take a mic and plug it into the Ada Mini Pro. In this case, I like that this microphone connected to the Rodecaster Pro. The Rodecaster Pro actually has all sorts of dynamics going on in there, processing going on in there. So you got a de-esser and a compressor. So it already just gives your audio a little bit extra before it goes into the stream. So there's tons of different ways to do it. So for me personally, in this case, if I'm going to live stream and DJ, I'm going to have the output from my mixer going straight into the Ada Mini Pro. Now I'm going straight off the Ada Mini Pro to YouTube. I could also connect the Ada Mini Pro to a computer, and then the computer is going to just recognize that as a webcam. And then I could use it with OBS. The thing I like about this is I don't have to depend on computer power and processing to run the streaming software, because currently I don't have a powerful computer here. And I mean, I tested OBS, and with the computer I tested it with, I was not getting great results. While here, I mean, I'm getting a consistent stream. The quality is on point, and I can connect up to 4 cameras to this at the same time. I don't know if my GoPro is ready, but for instance, I could have different angles connected. Now the GoPro is not liking this light, but just for instance, so you can see, I could just press this button and all of a sudden you're seeing me from the top. That is a borrowed laptop right there that I'm using to edit a couple of videos right now, but it allows you to have like multi-angles. So even if you're DJing, I could have one camera give you that eagle eye view, one in front of me, and whenever I want to do something special, I'm just gonna switch to camera 2, and then people can really get a closer look to see what I'm doing, and then I can switch back to a different view. So I kind of like that. It's not a cheap device. I have it here for a review, but I already know that I'm definitely gonna let the people at Blackmagic Design know that I want to buy this. This is, for me, it's a perfect solution. Not just for this, but also for webinars. If I want to do like a live lesson, I can have a controller in front of me. I can talk to you, then I can switch, show you the controller. I could even have a third angle. I could have an output from the computer in here showing you the entire computer screen. So it allows you to do all sorts of things for like cool live lessons. So I'm going to experiment with all of that, and you get to watch that. All right. I've seen your scratching skills. You're pretty close to Qbert. I have to fully disagree on that one. And that's not me trying to be humble. I'm just a really, realistic dude. And let's say I'm here. When it comes to level, then Qbert is out of this frame. He's an alien. Look, there's like the professional top level scratch turntablists. They're on a different level. I mean, Qbert could probably do maybe over 100 scratch techniques that I can't do, and he can do them with both hands, probably even with his feet. I don't know, like guys like that are on a different level. I'm not on that level, so I appreciate the love, but no, 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 we do not compare. Yes, Qbert is so far ahead, the machine can't keep up with him. 100%. I still have my QFO though, so just reminded me of that. Let's see. Do you like DJing on one turntable with instead double, with instant double? I've done it. It's cool. Yes, I have had sets that were saved by playing with that technique. I was playing in a club, and I could tell like within the first couple of minutes, it was a DJ set that was already there. So I just connected my Serato setup. One turntable was just not giving me a clear signal. So that could have been anything. Could have been the wiring in the tone arm. It could have been something in the RCA cable that was not working. But I was not getting a signal, so I could not use that turntable. So I immediately switched to using it in that way. So you're using one turntable. The second deck is on internal play. You start a new track from the turntable, hit instant double so it plays on the other deck as well. Switch to that deck, do the next track. So you're doing every track from that one turntable. It's not my preferred way to play because I like to play with both decks. But whenever I run into a situation where one turntable was not working, that was my go-to escape, and that works really well. And I actually know one DJ who plays like that on purpose. So there's two turntables there. He's still doing everything from one side and doing the instant double thing. So yes, I definitely use that. It is a great feature. And now with phase, I have to worry less about the turntable issues. But yes, can you play downloaded music at clubs or bought music only? Can you record your sets? Um, yes, you can play downloaded music at clubs. I mean, I assume you're talking about quote unquote illegally downloaded music. Yes, you can play that. I just don't know how it works in every country. And I mean, I've heard and seen stories in the past about DJs getting checked and their whole music collection getting checked, and they had like CDs and they would see if all of that music was acquired legally. I don't even know if that still happens. Um, I never found the need to risk it. I've never seen it happen here, by the way, where they check DJs like that. And I mean, even if I had downloaded songs that I was playing in my DJ software, and if someone wanted to see if I also had that legal version, I could just invite them to go through this record collection and find it. I mean, let's see if they're up for that. Um, so yes, you can play all of that. And can you record your sets? You can definitely record your sets. Now, if you're using DJ software, most likely it will have a record feature in there. If not, you could bring an external recorder connected to, hopefully if your mixer has a second master output connected to that, and record it that way. So it depends on what you're using, but there's different ways you can record. Most of the times I will record internally in Serato. Rekordbox can do the same thing. Tractor can do the same thing. I'm not sure about Virtual DJ, but I think so. Like a lot of DJ software will allow you to record within the DJ software. But I also brought my external recorder a lot of times and just connected that to a secondary output. Some mixers even have a record out, like the Pioneer mixers. If you were using a DJM 900 in the club, it has a record out, so you could use that. Or you could even take the USB that's on the Nexus 2, connect your phone, and use the DJM Rec app. There's a ton of options out there. Um, let's see. If someone wants to get lessons to be good, who can I recommend, especially here in Holland? Depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for like normal DJ techniques or also turntablism? I can definitely point you towards a couple of DJs. So let me know what you're looking for. It's the only dude that's real good with both hands. Yeah, well, I don't know. I've seen Qbert do a lot with both hands as well. I think Qbert is ambidextrous. Craze is as well. Some people think I am, but I'm not really. I know certain techniques. I can do certain techniques, scratch techniques with one hand and certain techniques with the other hand. So that's why people see me scratch on both decks, but I'm not doing the same scratches on both decks. I've seen Qbert do the scratch with the left, the right, and the channel faders. So crazy. As long as you have beat juggling, 10 scratch techniques, you're set. Anything past that is repetitive. You won't use Qbert skills at a wedding. No, I agree. I mean, I do like to learn new techniques, but at the end of the day, if I'm DJing, if I'm playing, I'm not there to do crazy scratch shows, and I'm comfortable with the scratches I know. I'd rather have like some funky scratches added to it than doing like a crazy Autobahn triple flare, whatever type of scratch. Only other turntablers are actually going to recognize that. The rest of the crowd really isn't. But yeah, Qbert is better with the right. Yeah, I'm sure. I've never really checked that out to see what his strong hand is. What else? Virtual DJ, Engine Pro does. Yeah, a lot of software will allow you to record. How you look at DJ industry and COVID situation? I'm originally from Holland, but I have been living on Mallorca for 15 years and always been working as a DJ. Even the big guys have no work at this point. Well, we were talking about that. I mean, a lot of people are utilizing live streaming as a tool to at least connect with people. So if you already have an audience so that you can stay in contact, have that connection, they can still see you play, or use it to build an audience, build your own brand. And some people are monetizing their live streams as well. If you're a larger DJ with a big DJ with a large following, and you announce a live stream, you can actually have people pay for that. So there's options. And let's see, believe it or not, I've been learning from you, your role model, the young DJs. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's always great to hear, man. Kareem in the building, DJ Booth Pro Audio was good. Yeah, we were just talking about whatever, man. This was like an impromptu live stream session. We're just having fun. I was asking people to give me topics for future videos, but at the same time, it seems like I'm answering like 80% of those videos right now. I'd like to learn DJ techniques, especially those scratching, and keep my audience crazy. All right. I think the best thing for you to do is to connect with DJ DNS. I can provide you with contact info. So send me an email, tlm@djtlm.com, and I will connect you with DJ DNS. That is like, he's been teaching for a long time. I mean, I do this online. I like to teach online, share knowledge online. DNS is a DJ from here, and he ran a DJ school. He still does a ton of workshops, and he teaches. He's a good club DJ, and he's also a very good turntablist. I mean, he's done Red Bull 3 Style a couple of times here, and he teaches all of that. So I'm going to connect you with him. I love the video in combo with your son. Thank you. Yeah, man, that's just a little beginning, man. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it too much now, but like he's got beats. He's got beats. Like, seriously. The app you saw in that video, that's an app where you're playing beats live. So you have to touch the different figures and squares and circles on the screen to trigger a sound. So you have to have that rhythmically correct, otherwise it's going to be offbeat. It's not like you're just letting something play. So his sense of rhythm is really good. But he's also using some of my different apps where you're actually programming music, making sequences, and you name it. And yeah, uh, you're going to be hearing more from us. I let him use apps on the phone. And the cool thing about the iMachine beats is I can actually import those into Machine on the computer. And then I still get the chance to actually still manipulate everything. So with Playground, the app he used in that video, he just recorded him playing. But after that's recorded, you can't really change anything. So for instance, volume wise, it is what it is. With iMachine, he can make a beat, but afterwards in the computer, we can still change everything, change the volume of hi-hats, add effects to it, add more or take something out. So yeah, that is something I'm really looking forward to do more with him. He's really into it right now. He comes to me with new beats every day, wants to hear my opinion, wants to let me check them out. And yeah, I love it. I'm originally from, oh, it's been retracted. I saw it, Jules, just before you retracted it. I'm from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, born and raised. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm from. And what else? What else? What else? 1200 Technics 1200s versus Rain 12s. Which ones do you prefer? Rain 12s light in weight. No, they're not lighter in weight. The Rain 12s are heavy. The Rain 12s are heavy. Are they heavier than a turntable? Oh, it's about the same. It might be a little bit heavier. It's definitely not lighter than a 1200. I can tell you that. This is a big piece of equipment. That's why I said I love using these, but bringing these to every club, that's just a no-no. That's not going to happen. Let me put this back. Damn. That is heavy. But 1200s are heavy as well. If you put them in a flight case, it's not like it's going to be a major difference between the two. Um, Look, I love the 12s, and I will continue to use them. But if you're choosing between turntables and the Brain 12s, you do have to ask yourself one question, and that is, are you also going to play real vinyl? If you don't have a vinyl collection, then the Rain 12 is a great option. For me personally, if I also want to be able to play vinyl and I had to like buy one device, um, then a Rain 12 would mean that I couldn't play any of my vinyl anymore. So in that case, you still want to have a quote unquote normal turntable. Uh, I had a DJ Ergo mixer, always been mixing with CDJs in the club. You consider I should upgrade my set? I don't consider anything. You need to just see if what you currently use is working for you. Um, the RX DJ 2, those standalone devices are great. They have that CDJ feel, uh, very convenient. I really liked playing with those. That's the, is it called the RX DJ? I forgot. I think we're talking about the same one though. Check out DJ Henry custom turntables. Okay, I will. How do you determine when to change the pace of your set? All depends on the crowd. I mean, I might at a certain point have a feeling like, okay, I want to switch now. So, of course, experience comes that gut feeling that I know from past gigs that if I play a certain style too long for a certain audience, it might get boring or it might get them a little too aggressive. There's all sorts of ways it could go, but that all depends on the crowd, and I'll let that guide me. So, for instance, if I'm playing at a party and I'm playing some rowdy hip hop, and there's a lot of girls, but there's also a lot of guys, and the guys are starting to get so rowdy to a point that you can see that the girls are starting to move away from that dance floor because the guys are too wild. That to me is definitely a point like, okay, wait a minute. I got to make sure I get those girls back because those guys are not going anywhere. If those girls remain on the dance floor, those guys aren't going anywhere. But if those guys get rowdy and all the girls leave, I have to win them back after that. I'm not waiting for that. So I'll make sure I read certain signals. Or if you could just tell, like, okay, I played 3 tracks. I wanted to play more, but I can tell, like, the first 3 reactions were so lame that this is not something they're feeling, and then I might switch faster. So it all depends on crowd reaction. Any custom color, put your DJ name. Very awesome store to purchase. A little what? Well, if you're talking about custom things for turntables, check out 12inchskins.com. They have a lot of custom deck plates, and you name it. You can even use your own designs as well. What's my most memorable set/party? For me, that is, I just know that straight off the top. For me, that's a party here in Amsterdam at a club called Paradiso. And that night, we had a lot of different live performances. So Common was there. I think Ice-T showed up. I might be mistaken. I think Talib Kweli was also there, and Pharaoh Monch. And they tore that place up. I DJ'd, let's say it's not really the after party because it was at a night that we have here in Paradiso called Baseline, and that's a party that's still 5. Sometimes they have acts, sometimes it's just DJs. In this case, first they had acts till like 12 or 1 or 1:30, and from that point till 5, Baseline was on, and I was playing solo, and the crowd was stupid hype from those acts. At that point, 2 things can happen. Sometimes after concerts, people decide that they've had their fun and they go, or you get them to, you keep them at that same level where they're like, okay, it's not over yet. This was one of those nights. I had so much energy coming from the tracks that I was jumping so high behind the decks. It was like I was one of the people on the dance floor going crazy with every track. And this was one of those nights where you're in that zone in a way that there's a connection between you and the crowd, that you're on that same wavelength, that every track I just grabbed, this was vinyl days, every track I grabbed and put on, the reaction was like, and I felt that same way. I was like, as well. So jumping, then grabbing the next track, like, oh, I'm gonna hit him with this right now. And track after track after track after track, they went nuts. And I had a great time that night watching the performances because they were dope. I got to hang out with Pharaoh earlier in that day as well. That was dope. But then to play a party like that and get so much energy, I played those hours solo, and after that I was just like, I've never been so hyped because of the energy I was getting from the people. So that was like super memorable, and definitely one of my all-time favorite gigs. I want to see you perform. When is your next gig? I have no idea. I think this is something a lot of DJs will tell you now. I have no idea. I mean, I had gigs lined up, not a crazy amount, but I had some dope gigs lined up, big festivals here, and I was really looking forward to that. I was also going to be playing in LA in June, and in April, I already got the word, like, it's not going to happen. It was going to be during E3, and it was not going to be at E3, but it was going to be like a crazy after party in a big club in LA, and yeah, that didn't happen. A lot of big festivals here didn't happen. I have no idea. I have no idea yet. I mean, we have to see. We have a slight rise in cases over here, again, as a lot of countries are seeing now. It's not major, but it is like double compared to the last couple of weeks. So I think like a couple of weeks ago, there were like 21 people in the hospital. Now it's 44. So it's not the same as we had in the beginning when it was spiking and we had like 500 people in the hospital. So 44 is not much, but it's still double from a couple of weeks ago. So cases are rising again. So who knows? It might be a long time before I get to play again because they might lock it down more again. We have to see. Yes, I'm doing another super session. That is happening. I guess you scratch with the key lock off. It depends. I don't pay a lot of attention to that. Like I said, with certain songs, I'm paying attention. I know that I want to really manipulate that sound, so I'll turn it off. But it's not like I'm turning it off every time I scratch. No. What do you think about the needle sound quality versus rain and phases? Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. So I could test that. But to be honest, if I'm playing with Serato, which is what I use, then it all depends on the mixer I'm using as well. Because the only thing a Rain 12 is doing is sending the Serato DJ software a signal like, hey, this is the way I want you to move that track, play it forward, play it at that speed, you name it. The Rain is not doing anything when it comes to audio quality. It is just a controller. The mixer is where the sound will come out. So the Rain manipulates the DJ software. The DJ software sends the audio to the mixer, and from there, I play it. Now, if I'm playing with phase, it is the same thing. Phase is now sending a signal to Serato DJ to play the audio, and then that goes back to the mixer. So I would say that if I'm playing with the Rain 12 or with phase and I'm using that same mixer, you're going to hear the same audio quality. The audio is coming from the same computer, going to the same mixer, same output. If I'm using Serato, if I'm using like turntables and I'm grabbing vinyl with the needle, that's going to be a different sound. If I'm using the needle and control vinyl to control Serato, it might affect the control signal a little bit, but I don't think that will affect the quality if I'm using the same mixer again. So after thinking about it, I think you're not going to hear difference in the quality. Yeah, you had 247 dead in Florida alone today. Yeah, and when I say 44, I'm talking about 44 hospitalized. So that's not dead, it's hospitalized. So that's the thing. I mean, of course, the Netherlands is a lot smaller country, but I feel that the reaction to the pandemic was handled. I mean, it was handled better than it was in the States. That's just, yeah, it's unfortunate to see how the government in the States reacted. I mean, we around the world see how other countries are doing, and to hear how people were speaking about COVID up until like March and even April and May, like, yeah, nah, it's okay, it's gonna go away. And it's unfortunate to see like a lot of people losing lives now, man. So I really, really, really hope we can get better at handling this. Let's see. What else? I know the feeling. I used to get gun salutes back in Jamaica playing dub plates. Yeah, that's a good one as well. Do you stream on Twitch? That's definitely one of the places I will be streaming at. So you can check me on Twitch, DJ TLM. I've had an account there for years and never streamed. I did a little test last week, and I will be streaming on Twitch as well. I'm going to see which platforms I will be using. Like YouTube, that's going to be mainly for Q&As, webinars, stuff like that. On Twitch, I will be doing stuff with audio, but I will be looking into using stuff like Restream to actually just live stream to different platforms at the same time, because you're going to have people who use Twitch. You're going to have people who don't use Twitch and will prefer to see it on different platforms. So I will be looking into that. Yeah, DJ Pablo, I know, man. I know. I mean, I kind of follow the news, the U.S. news as well, and I've seen how that death, how the number is rising rapidly, And it's just terrible to see, especially when you see so many people still refusing to at least try to do the minimum to prevent it by social distancing and wearing masks and stuff like that. Americans are proud to put a mask on. They feel the rights are proud to put a mask on. They feel the rights are taken away. Yeah, I mean, you do see some people over here acting that way as well, and really over exaggerating. Like I saw people like comparing it to slaves. I was like, yo, let's not go there. Let's not make that comparison. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Do you have a favorite technology? Ooh, that changes all the time because of everything that's happening. Like just take the fact of the video I just made with my son. The fact that he's using a telephone, a mobile phone, my old iPhone, and on that phone he can use apps to actually make music. And while he's making that music, record it on that phone and take it from that phone and either upload it, or in this case, I just used AirDrop to put it on a computer, and I can take that file, load it into a computer, and then I can manipulate that same beat on turntables with a wireless system. I love it. I love technology for the fact that it allows us to be creative like that, and it allows me to have like a sort of a jam session, a video jam session with my son. So it changes. Like phase, when it comes to DJing, phase has been my favorite technology for a while now. When it first came out, I said this is the first big game changer in a long time. It had a lot of issues; those were worked out, and I still feel like that's a game changer, major game changer. No, let's not record that. So I absolutely love that. It changes all the time. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, for instance, neural mix in algorithm DJ. It's not my favorite new technology, but the fact that something that I always had to tell people is not possible. Like back in the days, people would come to me like, "Hey, I have this song. Could you just take could you make this an acapella? Could you take the beat out?" I have to tell them like, "No, you can't do that. This is a final product. This is how it's made. I can't now take the beat out." And now I can. So to me, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know if everyone who's watching right now has heard of neural mix, if you've seen or heard it, but it's crazy that you can do stuff like that now, and it opens the door to new possibilities. If you haven't checked it out, check out DJ Angelo's video. He just did a mix using the neural mix feature in algorithm DJ, doing a crazy 10-15 minute mix with all sorts of genres and wordplay and tone play. You can do a lot of those things with it. And like I said before, and DJ King says it as well, like the new virtual DJ has a similar feature. It's just named differently. So that's really cool. So yeah, he can sell his beats on SoundCloud and start saving for college. Now, but the fact is, like, he's making beats on a phone that will be a computer in the future. Then on his little Chromebook, he's also making artwork for the beats he's making. The fact that the tech allows you to be creative like that, I love it. Greetings from the Caribbean. Hey, Collector in the house. Collector Ski Music. Yeah, man. What do you use more, Tractor or Serato? Serato, 100%. Which is better? I don't think there's a better. I think there's just preference. So for me, Serato is 100% what I prefer to use since back in the days. I just like the interface better. When I first saw Serato, I was like, yeah, that looks like it's made for me. And when I saw Tractor, that was just way too much. Everything you saw on the UI, all of the different tabs and things, it worked great, but it was just like too much for me. I just wanted that straight to the point, made for turntablist type of DJ software. I've also had issues with Tractor because for the longest time, it just was a fact that a lot of the Tractor stuff did not work really well when you were using Tractor stuff by other brands. The stuff made by Native Instruments just worked better. And I happen to have experiences where I tried different things, like Pioneer had a T1 mixer at a certain point, which was a Tractor mixer. I could not get that to work. Like half of the time, the computer would not recognize that as the device it was. I've had the same thing happen with an old, I think it was an old Denon controller that was for Tractor. I forgot the name, something 2000. Could not get that to work. And with Serato, whichever device I got, I just plugged it in and it worked. So I enjoy the interface more, and to me, it's a little more user friendly. So I prefer that. But no, Tractor is just amazing software as well. That's the thing. A lot of these different software systems are just great. Virtual DJ, for the longest time, people looked at it as like that's beginner stuff because they were like free and they had like this auto mix feature, and people thought this is not what real DJs use, blah blah. I'm never with that type of talk. If you take a look at the feature set in Virtual DJ, it has a lot to offer as well. So it's all about preference. So for me, that still is Serato. Record Box DJ comes very close because it's pretty similar to Serato. Also works great. So yeah, I'm pretty happy where I'm at, but I prefer to be able to use all of them. So I will be doing more with Tractor as well. I mean, I've used Tractor more than ever before in the last years since I had the S4 Mark III, because that is for Tractor, and it works great. That's all I can say. Just mess around with inverted instrumental with a full track to create acapellas. It doesn't work most of the time. Yeah, that's definitely not going to be the same thing. But I understand what you're talking about. Miles Medina is a great DJ. Who's your favorite DJ of all time? I'm not sure. I mean, Jazzy Jeff was definitely up there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna say Jazzy Jeff now. Jules, I lived in Amsterdam for a long time. The way you speak English sounds American, not Amsterdammer. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Like a lot of Dutch people will have a slight accent or a very recognizable accent. For me, it's just I will always blame hip hop and movies for my accent. That's it. Like I've been listening to that for the longest, and that's how my English came out after that. So, music and hip hop, especially hip hop. Never had a problem. Just plug it in and go. Started virtual DJ. Tractor, it just felt overwhelming. Yeah, that's what I can understand. That's what I had the first time with Tractor. That whole UI just felt really overwhelming. Even when you have to plug in like a third-party device, like all the tabs you had to go through. I never had that with Serato. Virtual DJ is the true GOAT. Everything else is biting their ideas. No, I do not agree with that, but it is a fact that Virtual DJ had a lot of features that other companies just implemented later. But I'm definitely not going to go as far as to call them the true GOAT. But to each his own, of course. SSS9, it's not going to be soon, but it's going to happen. Yes. What else? I thought you were originally from the States based on your accent. Yeah, I do get that a lot. Even with questions I get in my email, in my inbox. Like a lot of times I can tell by the name, like, okay, this person is from the Netherlands, and they're talking to me as if I'm from the States. And then I answer in Dutch just to freak them out. And over the years, I've said it plenty of times. Like I mentioned, like, hey, from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. But still, I get that quite often. You think Record Box will be major competitor for Serato? I mean, it's already one of the big few. Let's be honest. Like Tractor was a big player, and they lost their position. That's pretty obvious. Like Serato is the biggest, but I think Record Box definitely grew. Like Record Box is in a different position because a lot of people were using it as their music management software because they were using CDJs, and I don't know. Tractor kind of lost it for a second because, like I said, a lot of their third-party devices from different brands, they either made devices that did not have the same functionality as Native Instruments devices, or just didn't quite work well. Then they came out with like that S8 and the other controller that did not have jog wheels, which freaked people out. And I think they started to focus a little bit too much on the performing producer instead of a DJ. This is just me thinking out loud right now. And Serato just stepped in, took over. Rekordbox is doing well as well. What else? What else? Because I'm gonna wrap it up. How long have you been DJing? Did you start scratching straight away? I've been DJing for, let's say, 27 years now, 27 plus. And yes, I definitely started to practice scratching straight away because that seemed like the most fun thing to me. So yes, I definitely started to do that straight away. Yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I've been going at it for, I'm not sure how long, but quite some time. And I'm still in the studio. I still have to go home. So I'm going to break out for now. Look, this was, like I said, an on-the-spot, spontaneous live chat. I announced it on IG today. I'll be coming through with live streams very soon. So mixed live streams and you name it. So I'm toxic though, garbage. You are definitely living up to your name, man. I hope you feel happy with what you're posting right there. It reflects more on you than it does on us, man. So I'm not paying that more attention than that. And with that, I'm out. Guys, you already know the channel, so I don't have to promote or plug anything. If you don't, if you're not following me on IG, you can check me out there because I do post some stuff over there that you might miss out on YouTube. So that's it for now. I'm gonna press this little button, and I'll see you later.